Now, hi guys, welcome to today's session. So all things yoga boy. What we're going to do today is start a 6-week session on mastering restorative yoga. So basically it's going to be like a beginner's course. So I'll take you through some of the basics, and then I'll take you through a class. And then if you have any questions later on, we can tease out the questions. Yeah. So we're going to start with standing. So if you separate your feet about 4 to 6 inches apart, and then put a little soft bend in the knee, just a slight bend in the knee, yeah? And we're just going to ground ourselves and come into our center of gravity first. So that little soft knee, what I want you to do is just begin to gently sway. We just kick it off with a little sway. So what you're doing is you're swaying around at the 4 corners of your feet. So the big toe, the little toe, the inside of the heel, and the outside of the heel. So if it's your first time here today and you're not used to this, is give it a few minutes and you'll settle into it. So what we're doing is that with the little soft knee, just a small little bend in the knee, is we're grounding ourselves. So you'll feel your weight come down more into your feet. And then as you sway around the 4 corners, it's that smallest little sway that allows you to open up the soles of your feet. So you're going to feel the tone of the muscles in your feet. You'll feel them basically like a massage. And in the restorative session, it's very much like giving yourself a massage. So you're rolling all of your body weight around the 4 corners of your feet. You're basically massaging out the muscles and the joints. And it's very nice. But at the same time, it's very grounding. And then equally, as you're swaying around the 4 corners, is you start to come into your center of gravity. So let's explore that a little bit more as we go more into the body. Yeah. So you're rolling around the swivel joint of your ankle. So your ankle is a swivel joint. And as we roll around the 4 corners of the feet, is you're also massaging your ankle joint. And that you're just giving all the ligaments a little bit of pressure and then a little bit of release. Equally, you're going to feel the tone in your calf muscles. You'll feel the tone in your shins. And it's moving up into your knee joint. And your knee joint is a hinge joint. And we're just gently rolling the weight around the hinge joint. And again, we're releasing out the joint. So in the muscles, you get this lovely sense of tone and then release. And as you sway around the 4 corners of your feet, you get like a wave of tone and then a wave of release, where the muscles are spontaneously firming up and then spontaneously releasing. They're not just letting go, it's an active release. And then you're rolling around that and you're finding as that evens out, you're coming into your center of gravity. At the same time, you're massaging all your joints. You're massaging all your muscles. So you're going to feel your thighs a little bit more. You're going to feel your hamstrings, your inner thighs a little bit more. You'll feel your glutes. Then notice as you sway that it's actually quite nice. It's very soothing. And you're just relaxing into it. And there's a lovely momentum to it. It's almost like as you gently roll around the 4 corners, it takes on a life of its own. You just start to release yourself into your center of gravity, where all of your body just begins to work in unison as one. So when that happens, is you're in the spontaneity of your center. You're free flowing in it. It's really, really nice. Now, if you want to massage out the ball and socket joints in your hips a little bit more, is go a little wider. Woo! Go a little wider out to the sides a little bit. And again, nothing crazy, nothing where you're challenging your balance. Is what you're doing is the ball is up into the socket of the hip, and as you roll your weight around the 4 corners and you send the hips out a little wider, you're basically just massaging the ball and socket joint. And you'll feel a different pressure. So explore the pressures in the hips, the knees, the ankles, in the muscles, and then spontaneously let yourself just roll around. It's a really simple practice, and it brings you into your muscles, it brings you into your joints, And then it's going to bring you into your central nervous system. You get into the energetics of it. And I'll describe that as we're going along, yeah? So you're doing this. Now we're going to explore the pelvis a little bit more. So what I want you to do, imagine this is your pelvis and pointing forward. You want your pelvis to be level or neutral so that you get a natural draw up through your pelvic floor. You'll feel your pelvic floor tone. You'll feel your abdominal wall tone. If you're not sure, stick your bum out a little bit like a duck. And what that'll do is you'll feel your lower back tighten, your abdominals will relax, your pelvic floor relaxes. And then very, very slowly, think about sending your tailbone just down slightly, a very small movement. It's a micro movement. And then as you feel the draw up through your pelvic floor, now let yourself sway around the four corners of your feet and sway around the tone in your pelvic floor. And you're just massaging your pelvic floor. Okay, so just feel that. So as you send the tailbone down a little bit, it'll bring that pelvis neutral and it'll go up through your pelvic floor. Now you're rolling around the tone in your pelvic floor. You're rolling around the tone in your trunk of your body. You'll feel your lower abdominals a little bit. You feel your upper abdominals. You feel your obliques. You'll feel your lower back. And excuse me, just letting yourself engage with that. Remember, keeping the knees just a little soft. The knees have to stay just a little soft, and that keeps you grounded. And you'll notice that you'll naturally sway when the knees are a little bit soft. And then you're incrementally measuring it out by exploring the four corners of your feet. And slowly but surely, we're bringing more and more of our body into it. Now I'm going to bring the breath into it. I want you to basically slow your breathing down a little bit. A nice way to describe it is imagine you're freewheeling down a hill on a bicycle. We all did it as kids. And that you get that lovely exhilaration of the free flow, that the same with our center of gravity, just letting yourself be spontaneous in the flow. And it's gorgeous, but you're freewheeling down the hill. It's beautiful. But if you go a little bit too fast, is we get a bit anxious, we get afraid, we start to tap on the brake. And we're just tapping on the brake to keep that free flow, so we don't want to stop, but we just want to keep the free flowing sensation without actually stopping the breath, without actually stopping that lovely sensation. But it also is grounding. We tap the brake so we feel secure and connected to the ground while we're free flowing on the bike. Yeah? So now do the same in your breath. Don't worry about the depth of your breath. Is just begin to slow your breathing down, like tapping on the brake a little bit. You're going to notice a little bit of movement in your navel. You're going to notice a little bit more movement in your ribcage, intercostal muscles, and then a little bit more movement in your upper chest. So don't worry about the depth of it. It's just to explore that you can feel a bit of movement in all three areas. On the inhale and on the exhale. And it just nicely brings you into a little bit of breath awareness and you start to feel it in your body. So now think about this. When you slow your breath down a little bit, you have the beginning of your breath, the inhale, you have the beginning of the exhale, and then there's moments of pause. In between the inhale and the exhale, there's a transition point. When you sway, or not sway, but the pendulum, when the pendulum swings, there's a moment of pause, and then it changes direction. Moment of pause, and it changes direction. You can see I'm having a bit of fun with my own pendulum in my body here. There's that moment of pause rather than rigidly stopping. The pendulum doesn't rigidly stop. It sways. So as you inhale, you're going to feel a tone, and as you reach the peak of the tone, navel, ribcage, upper chest, you're going to feel a tone as the body expands. It's come softly to the peak of the tone, where you can come to that moment of the pause. The pendulum and the breath changes and you glide into your exhale. And just let it be steady. Remember to break a little tip on it so that you can just let it be nice and fluid. And as you exhale, you're going to feel a tone come into your body. And as you come to the end of your exhale, think about coming to that tone and softening into it. So as the pendulum sways to the end of your exhale, you touch off it, and then you're back on the inhale. And then notice something. You'll notice something that you see the pace that you're swaying at. I bet you're going to find that you're breathing at the same pace. So as you're inhaling, you're swaying one side. As you're exhaling, you're naturally swaying to the other side. And what you're doing spontaneously is you're syncing up the center of gravity in your body with your breath. So you're beginning to breathe your center of gravity. And it's drawing you deeper into your body. You're breathing your inner space. So you're starting to feel a little deeper into the muscles, into the trunk of the body, into the rib cage, into the upper chest. But again, it's spontaneously happening. And you're just letting yourself sway with your center of gravity and flow in your breath. Now, we're going to bring the arms into it. So they're going to be like this, down by the side of the body, and palms turned out just a slight little bit. But what I want you to do is straighten your fingers and separate them a little bit, and keep them straight and a little bit apart, and you're going to notice a tone. Now, when you hold that tone maintains itself. Now, when you feel the tone in your hands, I want you to then mirror the tone in your hands to mirror the tone in your feet. So whatever tone you feel in your feet, have your hands mimic it. And then use your own intuition. Whatever you think it is, that's what it is. That's good. Keep doing that. And you're going to notice that tone is going to come up your forearm. It's going to come up into your bicep and your tricep. It's going to come up into your shoulder. It's going to come across the top of the shoulder. So as you breathe into your navel, then your rib cage, and then your upper chest, is let the shoulders come away from the ears. So as you got that beautiful tone in your arms all the way up to the shoulders, and you breathe to your upper chest, is let the shoulders come away from the ears. And just allow the neck to lengthen. You're coming up to the top of your skull. So you're just coming into the tallness of yourself. You're coming into the natural integrity of your body, and you're just swaying in that tone. And as you breathe a little deeper into your rib cage, everybody in their own time, as you breathe a little deeper into your rib cage, it's going to expand. And as it expands, it floats up a little bit. And as it floats up a little bit, you get a deeper tone in the trunk of your body. You're opening up your spine, you're opening up your vertebrae, and you get that lovely energetic release. And it's beautiful. And you want to make sure that your chest, your rib cage, is level like your pelvis. So sometimes we stick the bum out and we prop the chest. So you're sending the tailbone down just a little bit. There's your pelvic floor. You may need to bring your breastbone down slightly. And if you feel your upper abdominals engaged, there you go. So keep the breastbone at a level that'll let you feel the upper abdominals actively engaged. Not tensing, but toning. And just swaying with that. And swaying, letting the neck lengthen from the base of the neck to the base of the skull, up to the top of the skull. And it's all very soothing. So now, keep doing what you're doing. You have your physical center of gravity. Now you're breathing your inner space, and you're doing it with your breath. You're beginning to flow in the center of gravity of your breath. Brings you into the energetics of yourself a little bit more. But notice the pace is the same. So that as you settle into this pace, you start to notice that the pace of your thoughts begin to slow down too. You're not changing your thoughts, more like you're changing the pace of your thoughts. So you just find the pace of your thoughts begin to move at the same pace of your breath. Begin to move at the same pace of your body. And while you're coming into this, the spontaneous tone in your body and release, there's the spontaneous inhale and exhale and release. You come into the spontaneous thought and the release of the thought. That you're just coming into that beautiful center. You notice I'm swaying my arms around here. I just do it, yeah? But I'm going to get you to do a little bit now. So hands are toned. I want you to rotate your hands I'll give you the mechanics first. You can do it with me. The wrist, the elbow, and then the ball and socket joint in the shoulder. So rotate them out. Now rotate the hand in, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, rotate them in. Now when you do that, is rotate. Now as you come to the greater tone in the upper arm, feel the pressure, but soften to the peak of it, like the pause, and then transition. You feel the pressure comes off the arm, but as you rotate, you go deeper in. You start to feel that tightness in the muscles of the arms and shoulders meet it, and then release. And I want you to inhale as the arms and hands rotate out. Exhale as the hands and arms rotate in. And what you're doing is you're just giving the arms and shoulders just a little bit of a squeeze. And then a little bit of a squeeze. So as they rotate out, you get to open across the chest. You get to give a little bit of squeeze between your shoulders. As you exhale in, you get to give the chest a little bit of a squeeze. You get to open your shoulders. And then play around with the pressure that feels like a massage. And now that's the simple rule of it. If it feels good, keep doing it. You're on the energy release. As you open up the body, as you release a bit of the tension, is you also get that lovely release of energy. It starts to feel nice. Once it starts to feel nice, that's it. You're winning with the restorative. Keep doing it. You don't have to overthink it. Is if we get that, keep going. So we're just working here. Now we're going to open up the lungs a little bit more. So from this one, you can see I'm moving nice and fluidly, micro movements. My fingers come together. They're coming up like this, all the way up, and then all the way out, and then all the way down. Now look at, I'm extending my arms, I'm opening my hands, and as they come in, my fingers are going to come together again. So this is the inhale, all the way up. As long as my arms are going up, I'm inhaling. As I transition out, is the exhale, out and down. And I'm exhaling all the way down here. And look, you'll notice the hands are turning into transition, pause, and then I'm inhaling. And I'm moving at a pace, I slowed it down so you can see, I'm moving at a pace that I'm moving at the same pace as my center of gravity. And my breath is flowing in the same pace. My mind is flowing at the same pace. And I'm opening my lungs. As you inhale, you get a nice deep breath into the sides of your rib cage. You get this lovely extension across the shoulders and the chest. And then as you exhale down, nice release across the neck and shoulders. And then as you inhale up, and we're just releasing the neck and shoulders a little bit, opening up the rib cage. And again, if it feels good, keep doing it. Now we're going to reverse it on this one. So the next time the hands come down, there's that transition. You change. You're inhaling, you're extending all the way out and up. And as you reach the peak, the hands are coming in, you're exhaling all the way out and down. And then inhaling. And again, everybody's working at their own pace. I'm basically telling a story, and then you just follow at your own pace. Now the next time your hands come down, leave the hands active, turned out a little bit, but lay your eyes closed, and what I want you to do is just come into a little bit more of a more subtle sway. Okay, now what I want you to do as you come into a little bit more of a subtle sway, I want you to emphasize your breath a little bit more. So breathe a little slower and actively breathe a little deeper. At any given moment, it's just breathe a little deeper into it. And as you do, use the expansion in your breath, in your body, to activate the physical sway in your body. So as you exhale, go a little deeper, and notice how it lets you sway a little deeper in your body. Simply by inhaling a little deeper and exhaling a little deeper, is you find yourself swaying a little deeper in your body, and that will create a greater tone in your muscles. And you're just letting yourself flow on that tone. And then just with the eyes closed, is just explore that lovely wave motion. And remember, I'm just setting, this is the first session, I'm just setting up some of the fundamentals. This is our center of gravity at a physical level, at an energetic level in the breath, and then at a mental level, we're centering ourselves and we're coming into the center of gravity of all three, and we're just exploring the tones and the releases, the spontaneous tone and the spontaneous release. So notice how tension gets released in a very gentle way, energy gets released in a very gentle way, and all becomes very calming. So the pace you're moving at, it just becomes soothing and spontaneous. Okay, so now let your eyes open. If you're not open, let your eyes open. Okay, so now we're going to take it down into the floor. Now, there's loads of postures and positions I could take you through. I'm just going to take you through some of the basic, simple ones today. Yeah, we will be working on the spine, and we will activate a little bit of the chakra energy as well. But I'm taking you through basic postures first. Yeah, and as we go through the weeks, I'll show you more stuff. So come on down onto the floor, and basically we're in table position. So have your hands the width of your shoulders, below your shoulders, and your knees the width of your hips and below your hips. Okay, now from there is spread out your fingers and have your hands come into the floor nice and fully. And from that is, I want you to press your hands in, feel the lift up through your arm, and as you do, rotate your elbows slightly and take your shoulders away from your ears and lengthen the back of the neck so you're looking directly at the floor. Now bring your breastbone and your groin, bring them slightly together, just a little bit, until you feel your core engage. Just a little bit, you feel your core engage. And press your feet into the mat again, a small amount that you feel the tone in your legs. So you've got this root and rise in your body, and then from there, I want you to begin to make a circle. So as you lean over to the right, you're rolling around. So you're rolling around the two hands and the two knees. And you're looking directly at the floor. And you're keeping your breastbone and your groin a little bit together so you feel your trunk engaged. And the reason why I'm getting you to do that is so that you're not collapsing in your lower back, is that you're working through your alignment. Now in this position, what we're doing is we're rolling the weight of the body around the ball and socket joint in the hips and the shoulders. You'll feel it more so in the hips. So let yourself spiral out. The more you do it, send those hips out a little wider, and you'll feel that beautiful massage effect in the ball and socket joint, massaging out all the ligaments, just massaging out the glutes, massaging out the legs, massaging out the trunk, massaging out your shoulders. And again, it's the same pace. You're moving at the same pace. You're breathing at the same pace. And you're just letting your focus and your mind move at the same pace. Now notice, I'm not asking you to control your thoughts, but you're controlling the pace of your thoughts and the quality of your focus. Now, let's go in the opposite direction. Start off small. And then you're incrementally spiraling up and feeling the different pressures in your hips and your shoulders. And even though you're making the same movement, but it's in the opposite direction, it always feels different. Always. I'm always amazed at how different one side feels to the other. And again, explore a little bit with the hips. And if you've got tightness in the hips or a bit tenderness, it's sending those hips out to the side and slowing it down a little bit. It's just a gorgeous massage. Super, super nice. And remember, you're following the same rule all the time. If it feels good, keep doing it. Okay, now we're going to come back to center. Okay, now from here is we're going to do a flowing cat. So I'm going to get you to push through your hands and feet a little bit, keeping your shoulders open. I'm going to get you to tuck your pelvis and dip your chin. Now you're rounding out your spine. So you're lifting up through the back of the rib cage. Now, just be careful not to be rigid in it. You're lifting up through, but no bracing in it. Yeah, it's a gentle lift. Now, from there I want you to gently rock forward and back a little bit, flow forward and back a little bit. And once you settle into that pace, the same flow as your center of gravity, is let yourself go back a little bit more. Now, keeping the spine rounded as you go back more, it changes from the back of the rib cage and it begins to move into the lower back. You're rounding out your lower back and you're just opening up all your vertebrae. So you're opening up the vertebrae and then moving up and down the spine. And it's very nice for your back muscles. Gives your abdominals a little bit of a tone, a little bit of a squeeze. It's never a pinch. It's never a pinch and it's never a brace. Always tone and then reach the peak, the moment of pause, and then you change position, or change direction. So feel the tones, sway and flow in them, meet the peak of it, moment of pause, and then you change. And it's that massaging effect. Now keep doing the same motion, but bring your spine back to neutral. Now we're going to do a counter cat. So what I want you to do is, keeping your shoulders open, bring your chin forward and up. And that's going to create a pressure across your neck and shoulders. And remember, it's a nice pressure, never a pinch, a nice pressure. Now your sit bones, basically send your sit bones back and up. Stick your backside in the air a little bit. And that creates a little bit of pressure in your lower back. You can relax your abdominal wall a little bit, but not passively. So now you've got this lovely pressure across your neck and shoulders and your lower back. And then notice as you sway forward and back, it changes the pressure. And that pressure, use it like a massage. Pressure and then release. If you think about somebody giving you a back massage, they lean slightly into you as the hands run up your back. And then they lean slightly off as the hands come down your back. So that as they go in, it's a pressure, and as they come back, it's a release. And the body spontaneously understands that motion, that tone. It's what the center of gravity of the body is like. It's able to tone and release spontaneously. So keep doing the same thing, but look, let yourself make a little circle. And as you make a little circle, again, you're changing the pressure and the tone, and it just feels nice across your lower back, into your hips, and then across your shoulders and down your arms, even your neck. And again, finding that space that it just feels nice, and then change the direction a little bit. So very, very uncomplicated. You don't have to think about it too much. Always the golden rule. If it feels good, is keep doing it. Okay, now from here, we're going to come back to center. And again, just a little rounding up through the spine. Let's release out the spine a little bit. And I forgot to mention there, that previous one, is that we were opening up the front of the spine and giving the back of the spine a little squeeze, yeah? Okay, now from here, what I want you to do is separate your knees a little wider. And as you separate your knees a little wider, you're sitting back towards your heels. You don't have to be on your heels, but just back towards them. Now, come slightly forward and bring your forearms on the floor. And you can do one fist and then another, or you can do a hand and a fist, whichever suits you. Okay, now take your elbows out enough. You want your shoulders to stay open. And what I want you to do is put your forehead on your fists. Now the trick with this is that when you put your forehead on your fist, you want to facilitate the length of your spine. So the back of your neck is long. You don't want it to bunch like this. You want to lengthen it out. So dip the chin slightly, let the neck lengthen a little bit. Okay, keeping the shoulders open. Now from there is now just let your weight rest through your hips, through your legs into the floor. Let the weight rest through your open shoulders and through your forearms into the floor. Let your weight rest through your forehead itself. And then breathe. Breathe into your navel. Breathe into the sides of your rib cage and breathe into your upper chest. And then notice as the rib cage expands, is you get that lovely release and length in your spine. As you breathe into your upper chest, shoulders come away from the ears, you get this gorgeous release up through the back of the neck. And on the expansion, you get this lovely, on the inhale, you get this lovely expansion and lengthening. On the exhale, you get this beautiful contraction that still supports the length of your spine, and then relax into your contraction and relax into that openness of your spine. And then, like a massage, you're using the weight of your body again, and then you're using the flow of your breath to stay connected to your physical center of gravity, but you're doing it much more from the internal flow of your breath, and you're staying connected to the energetics of your body. It feels good. And then just keep breathing and notice how it allows your mind to be calmer and calmer and calmer. Now from there, we're going to lie all the way onto the floor. So you're on your belly. I want you to turn your head to one side. Now at any point, you can turn your head to the other side anytime you want. Hands down by the side of the body. Palms turned upwards. Let your elbows rest out. Now you let your elbows rest out because it relaxes your shoulders. Okay, it disengages the shoulders. It's really relaxing. Now your toes, put your big toes touching and let your heels rest out. So big toes touch, let your heels rest out, and then that disengages your psoas, your pelvic floor, and it relaxes your core. And then you're lying on the floor, and from there, again, you close your eyes for this one. From there, what I want you to do is slow your breathing down. And as you slow your breathing down, I want you to breathe into your abdominal wall. As you breathe into your abdominal wall, breathe it into the floor. As you breathe your abdominal wall into the floor, it's going to meet the floor, you get that nice massaging effect in your abdominals. Notice how it opens up your oblique muscles at the side of your body. It's going to open up your lower back muscles. And just feel the lower back muscles open. And this position, of all the lower back releasers, this is the one I found that is most effective for releasing out the lower back, because you're breathing and your muscles are expanding from the inside out. And as your muscles expand from the inside out, they open and release. It's a beautiful tension releaser, and there's no trying to pull at the muscles. The muscles are just released from the inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then you notice the massage effect. When you inhale, that beautiful expansion and pressure. When you exhale, there's that beautiful contraction and then a release. So just enjoy that, but go further, go deeper into it. As you breathe into your navel, into the floor, obliques open, lower back opens, it sends the pelvis and the tailbone ever so slightly down, and that lengthens the spine. So if you breathe a little deeper, you'll feel your vertebrae in your lower back separate. They'll lengthen a little bit more, and you get this beautiful energetic release. Think about your central nervous system and all the nerve endings coming out between your vertebrae. When you take the pressure off your vertebrae, it just releases the energy through your central nervous system into your body. How will you notice it? It'll feel nice. It'll be a really strong, nice feeling. That's your central nervous system decompressing. Tension is being released, energy is flowing in. Follow it, just breathe it. As you breathe into your rib cage, the rib cage is going to expand, it's going to release out your middle back, and again, you'll feel your spine lifting a little bit more and elongating. Breathe your upper chest, it's going to open the space between your shoulder blades. You're breathing to the base of your neck and the base of your skull. You can even breathe all the way to the top of your skull, right through the tailbone, all the way to the top of the skull. So on the inhale, the spine floats up and away. You get this beautiful lifting sensation and elongating of the spine. When you exhale, you feel all of your spine floating towards the floor, but because of the contraction of your muscles keeps the spine elongated. So you get these two different waves of energy. When you inhale, there's that beautiful release of openness. When you exhale, there's that beautiful release of letting go. It's gorgeous. So just keep following it. And notice how it takes you deeper and deeper into your body. It takes you deeper and deeper into your breath. It takes you deeper and deeper into your mind. That's not your thoughts, it's awareness itself. You get this beautiful sense of being conscious and present, and then there's a depth in it. You're just coming into the beautiful grounding in your mind, grounding in your energetics, your central nervous system, and then grounding in your body. It's gorgeous. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to now roll over onto your back. And when you roll over onto your back, is legs are straight, separate the feet about hip width apart, and just let the feet rest out to the side. Take your hands down by the side of your body, palms turned upwards, and again about a foot, 18 inches away from the body. So that the shoulders are released, yeah? Now from there, what I want you to do is just do a quick scan and make sure that your body is comfortable. Now, please don't move. Unless you need to release something out, lie still. But what I want you to do is breathe slow. And as you breathe slow, breathe as if you're still lying on the floor, on your belly, so that you've got that resistance. So it makes you breathe slower, makes you breathe deeper. But because you're lying on your back, when you breathe that slow, deep breath into your navel, but there's no resistance, you get this beautiful release, this beautiful spaciousness, and there's just an opening. Breathe slow and deep into that beautiful spaciousness in your navel. Now it's going to flow, it's going to move through you. So as you breathe into the spaciousness of your navel, now breathe into the flow of your rib cage. You get this lovely momentum flowing through your rib cage. So it's like you get this beautiful spaciousness, and it's just getting lighter and lighter and flowing deeper and deeper. So as you breathe to your upper chest, you just get this beautiful openness and lightness. And remember, as you reach the peak of that lightness, touch off it gently. Now slowly exhale into your navel. There's still that beautiful spaciousness, but now you're in the effortlessness of it. Just effortlessly let yourself go into that space. Now you're effortlessly flowing through your rib cage, everybody at their own pace. And as you flow to the end of your exhale, as you come to the upper chest, is come to that place effortlessly. You're just letting go, surrendering effortlessly. That beautiful moment of pause, and then you're inhaling and you're moving into the lightness again. You're moving into the spaciousness of your navel, and it's feeling lighter and lighter. Now flow deeper into it through your rib cage, and as you flow deep into that beautiful openness and lightness in your upper chest, reach the peak, moment of pause, and then you're in the effortlessness of your exhale. Continue to do that. I want you to notice that I get into the buzz, is on the exhale, there's this wonderful effortlessness on the way down. On the inhale, there's a beautiful lightness on the way up. And between the effortlessness on the way down and the lightness on the way up, in between, you've got a beautiful spaciousness. And you're just breathing that spaciousness. Now that's the spaciousness of your physical body. It's the spaciousness of your energetic body. And it's the spaciousness of your mental body. You're opening your mind as much as your energy, as much as your body. And then you're just allowing energy to fill that beautiful space. You're allowing consciousness to expand into that beautiful space. Just a greater sense of inner presence. And then you're in the bliss of it. It's blissful, it's gorgeous. There you go. And you're very much in your central nervous system as well. We'll tease that out a little bit more in a moment, yeah? So just spend a couple of moments there. We'll just check the time. 40 minutes has gone by already. These sessions, they go super fast. Okay. So I want you to stay in that space. But we're going to add in something. Very simple. We're going to do a hip opener. So you're going to need to look at me for this one. You're going to bend your knees and put your feet ever so slightly flatten the floor ever so slightly in front of your knees. You don't want your feet bunched up. You don't want pressure on your knee. A little bit forward. Now about 4 inches apart. Okay, so 4 inches apart. Now you can look at me and do the mechanics of it for the first one or two. You're slowly letting your knees go out in opposite directions, right to the right, left to the left, and you're floating them out and down. Okay, now when you go to the limit, you're coming onto the sides of your feet, but no putting the soles of the feet together, so that when you bring your knees back in, float them back in, and you come gradually flat on your feet. And now again, like the sway, there's the pause, and then you're back out again. Now you're still moving at the same pace that you were moving in your center of gravity, because your body understands that pace. So you'll notice as you flow in it, is find that pace where you feel like you're holding the weight of your leg and you're releasing the weight of your leg. You're releasing the weight of your leg, but at the same time, you're holding the weight of your leg. And it's, again, like a pressure, and then release. You feel both. And as you do, is you're going to start to notice all the ligaments around the ball and socket joint begin to release. You get this nice release. You get that nice release in your inner thigh. You get that nice release around your glutes, your backside. You get a nice release in your pelvic floor. Now keep doing that, and I'll talk you through it a little bit more. So what you're also doing is you're massaging across the back of the pelvis, and you're massaging your lower spine, and you're massaging your central nervous system. So think about all the nerves that come out through your lower spine, is you're massaging those, you're taking the pressure off them. And in your pelvic bowl is you have a lot of nerve endings, like clusters of nerve endings. They meet in plexus. So you've got your root chakra and your sacral. So simply, all that energy that you're releasing in your pelvic bowl, let it gather. Just let it be there. It's going to feel nice. Is just keep letting it feel nice. Let it feel nicer, but don't do anything with it. It's just a nice sensation. Is you're just releasing energy and you're letting it build in your pelvic bowl through pressure and release. So you're opening up your hips. You're literally releasing your lower spine, and you're building the energy of your root and your sacral. And it feels nice. Very grounding. It's also very enlivening. And just let it be there. Just let it be a nice sensation. And what we're going to do in a couple of moments is we're going to release it and let it move up and down the spine a little bit. Okay, so you're always just following what feels nice. Okay? That's the bit where you don't need to overthink it. Okay, so next time you take your knees out, put the soles of your feet together. Now, when you put the soles of your feet together, you can move your feet forward and back into a position where it's really comfortable for your hips. So once you find that spot, just completely relax the hips now. And if it gets a little bit uncomfortable, you just adjust your feet again. You can take them out slightly wider, your hips will lift up. So there's always a spot where you can put your feet to relax your hips. Now, let all that energy that was in the pelvic bowl, let it circulate. Let it circulate. You're going to feel it release down your legs. Let it circulate around the legs to the soles of the feet. Now, let's bring it up the spine by slowly breathing into the navel. Take your time to breathe into your navel. And remember, when you were lying on your belly, breathing into your navel affects your spine. So breathe slow into your navel and let it affect your spine. Let it massage your spine. And then do 5 or 6 of those breaths. And as you do, what happens is that you're just opening up the space for the energy to move into. You can't tell that energy where to go, but you can open up space and it naturally moves in. So as you feel that lovely release in the trunk, go breathe a little deeper into the sides of your rib cage. Go breathe a little deeper into your upper chest, and just notice that lovely life force that you're feeling in your pelvic bowl is just begins to circulate and channel through your body a little bit more. And really what it is your nice sensation. If it feels good, keep doing it. That's the trick. And this beautiful massage effect in your body, pressure and release. Energetically, pressure and release. Mentally is pressure and release, is thoughts come in, and the peak of the thought is the pressure, and the thought goes out. You're releasing the pressure of that thought, the effort it takes to focus on it. It's like a mental effort, no different than an energetic, no different than a physical. And you're just letting everything just move around your center of gravity. It just feels nice. Okay, now from there is gently bring your knees back in, and then straighten out your legs and just lie with your legs flat. Now, when you're there, is what I want you to do is continue to breathe into your navel, but this time is breathe lower into your pelvic floor, into your pelvic bowl, breathe into your pelvic floor, and you get a lovely release at the top of your thighs, your psoas muscle. Is you get a lovely release. You've got these beautiful big nerves that come down your legs. See if you can feel that lovely energetic release run down the front of your thighs. And as you do, just breathe into it. Just focus on that space and just breathe slow and deep, so that as you inhale, expand into that energy and just send it down. As you exhale, contract and release yourself into that energy. So beautiful lightness on the inhale, effortlessness on the exhale, and a beautiful spaciousness in between. And then you're just moving within that spaciousness. You get these beautiful waves of sensation. And literally, that's the energetics. It's your central nervous system, and you're surfing the wave of your central nervous system around your body. And you're activating different energy points, and you're just getting the energy going, and then just letting it release a little bit. All very simple stuff. This is where it gets interesting between the restorative class is really simple. In many ways, it's very basic, but then it's so simple and so basic, it really gets you into the subtle energies. When you move those subtle energies, that's not basic anymore. That can be quite an advanced practice to be moving those energies. But it's done. We access it in such a simple way. Okay? So now, I'm going to get you to do something else. This time, I want you to bend your knees again. Put your feet flat on the floor like before, but this time is your feet and knees are together. Okay? Hands down by the side of your body. Maybe take your hands out a little wider this time. Okay, now this time we're going to do a spinal twist. Now it's a simple, is look at your knees, and what I want you to do is bring your knees 2 inches over to the right. Just 2 inches. So that what that does, that shifts the weight of your legs, and it's pressing down through the back of your pelvis on the right side. Now bring it back to center, 2 inches over to the left. So now you feel your weight roll across the back of the pelvis to your left side. You're never letting your knees fall over to the side, because it's always about the back of the pelvis. And I want you to gently, like same pace as always, is sway your knees 2 inches to the right, back to the center, and 2 inches to the left. Now what you're doing is you're using the weight of your legs to massage all the ligaments at the back of the pelvis. All those ligaments that connect to your back, all those ligaments at the back of the pelvis, just feel the weight of your legs just roll across them, and the weight of your body is just needling them. A lovely massage. It's super nice. And just avoid letting the legs flop over to the side, because it then takes that massage effect off all those ligaments. So now you're doing that with your knees. Now your head, a little dip at your chin. Now as your knees go over in one direction, I want your chin to go in the opposite direction. So when your knees go to the left, your chin goes to the right. I want you to dip the chin and bring it a little bit over towards the collarbone. But again, you're not squeezing the neck around, is you're rolling the weight of the head on all the ligaments at the base of the skull. So it's only an inch or so, maybe a little bit more. And then as your knees come to the center, your head comes to the center. As you go to the right, your chin goes to the left. And they're both moving at the same pace. And you're massaging all the ligaments at the base of the skull. You're massaging all the ligaments in the lower back, at the back of the pelvis. Okay, now keep doing that. And I'll talk you through it a little bit more, yeah? You get this beautiful energetic release from the back of the pelvis. You're going to start to feel the energy move through the muscles of your back. You're creating this subtle rotation on your spine. There's a subtle twisting of the spine, but at the same time, the spine is lengthening and opening, so you get this lovely release of energy up your spine. Now, at the same time, you're massaging all the ligaments at the back of the base of the skull. It's super nice. And as you release it out, you're going to start to feel this lovely release of energy go down the back of your neck. It's gorgeous. And it's also, you're releasing out your vertebrae in your neck, so you get this lovely release of energy, not just in the muscles, the ligaments, muscles, but also the spine and the central nervous system. And you get to feel the energy from the bottom and the energy from the top work through your back. And you find as the more you do it, those two energies come together. And you get this beautiful release in the middle of your back. You get this beautiful release, the shoulder blades, the back of the rib cage, and all of your spine is released. And it just feels like it's like this gentle rocking motion where you're just gently massaging all the muscles of the back, opening up the spine, releasing your central nervous system, all the ligaments in the vertebrae, you're just releasing them out. Okay, and then there you go. Once you get into that beautiful space, it's just follow the nicest sensation. There's no trick to it other than if it feels good, keep doing it. Really nice. Now, while you're doing that, I'll just mention one more thing, is subtle movement, micro movements. Notice how you're moving in a way where it feels like a series of small movements together, but all those micro movements create this lovely flowing effect. And it's a flow in micro movements. And every micro movement, it's a small little movement, but it's a big release of energy. Okay, it's a big release of energy. And then you get this lovely flow of micro movements. It just feels like a wave of energy. You get these beautiful waves of energy moving through you. And again, that's you really beginning to tap into that source, that real source of energy that we have within us, yeah? And you're beginning to activate your chakras a little bit. And when we're lying on our belly, you're working on your solar plexus. I just forgot to mention it. I'll mention it next time, but it gets to release the solar plexus. It's really, really nice, yeah? Okay, so let me check. Would you believe it's 5 to 7? Okay, I'll show you one more. I'll show you one more today. So now if you come back to center and let the legs rest out, the hands are already resting out, I want you to just lie still for a moment. Just lie still. Lie still, and again, follow your breath. Follow those beautiful waves of sensation. A beautiful lightness on the inhale. A beautiful effortlessness on the exhale. That wonderful spaciousness in between. And I just want you to feel how your back just opens up to the floor. Your spine opens up to the floor. Your shoulders and arms open up to the floor. Your hips and your legs open up to the floor. Feel the hands and the heels meet the floor. Feel the back of your head meet the floor. And notice how alive that feeling feels. It's not a passive connection. It's an organic connection. It's like your body is breathing the floor itself. It's gorgeous. You might even feel like you're lying on a soft mattress, or you're floating on it like a magic carpet. Okay, and again, just surf those waves. If you're on that buzz, surf those waves, yeah? So keep it going. Now, I'm going to show you one more position. So, staying where you are. This one takes a little bit of effort to get into it because we're going to work on the heart. So if you bend your knees again, just for the purposes of getting into it, what we're going to do is a fish pose, but we're going to do a simple fish pose. So you bend your knees. Now I'm going to get you to put your hands underneath, but look at what I'm going to get you to do with your fingers. See the index finger and thumb, other thumb, you hook it in like this. So you're going to be like this. It means you keep your fingers together
And then you're going to do that underneath. So lift your hips and hook index finger and thumb, hook it in like this. Now from there, what I want you to do is push your hands down. So your elbows, look, get those elbows underneath the body, see the chest, really get the chest open. Now this is where the effort is. This is where you got to get this. See this here? You're not going to get the same effect. And I promise you, it's worth it. So get those hands down, get those elbows underneath, shoulders roll back. Now you can release the thumbs. Pelvis is keeping the hands in place. And then you're going to straighten out your arms. And keeping the feet active, so spread out the toes. Now what I want you to do is I want you to press through your elbows, push them into the floor, and I want you to, don't lift anything, I want you to lift through your chest. So feel that root and rise. Push through the elbows and lift through the chest. Now it's going to open the chest, it's going to tone your intercostal muscles, and you're going to get a nice pressure in your upper back and your shoulders. So feel that. Now from here, is dip the chin slightly, just a little bit. So it's the back of the head on the floor. So you're not doing this, you're not doing this. It's dipping the chin slightly. So the neck is long. I want you to push the back of your head into the floor. Now when you push the back of your head into the floor with the neck straight, what that does is that tones from the ligaments at the base of the skull, it tones all the neck muscles. It tones across the top of the shoulders. You're toning between the shoulders and the shoulder blades. You're toning the back of the rib cage. You're toning your shoulders and your arms, toning your rib cage. But at the same time, you're actively opening it. Feel that chest open. So breathe into your navel. Don't over breathe into your navel because I want you to spend more time breathing into the sides of your rib cage. Then breathe into your upper chest. Now, take the time to breathe slow into the rib cage and upper chest. Your lungs are smaller there. On this one is I want you to savor the openness of your rib cage. And I want you to savor the openness of your upper chest. And there is effort in this one. So you're constantly resisting, but it's to open. It's not tight. Don't be killing yourself. That's not what it's about. But I do want you to feel that lovely squeeze across the neck and shoulders, between the shoulder blades, the back of the rib cage, that lovely openness of your rib cage and chest. And then I want you to breathe lightly into it. When you inhale, breathe the lightness, breathe the space. When you exhale, keep the resistance, but breathe the effortlessness. Effortlessly relax into the tone you're making. Don't fight the tone, is soften into it. Effortlessly come into the tone. Lightly breathe into the tone. And in between, you're breathing that beautiful spaciousness. And that spaciousness is your chest cavity. So you might start to feel these lovely flows of energy around the chest, around the intercostal muscles, up and down the back of the neck, the back of the rib cage, around the shoulder blades. Is just notice those lovely releases of energy and just breathe into them. And breathe into them. Lightly on the inhale, effortlessly on the exhale. Lost my thought for a sec. And the beautiful expansion in between. And breathe it and hold it just for a little longer. It's lovely, but the payoff in this one is when we come out of it. So keep breathing. Okay, now let's release out. So let the chest release, let the shoulders release. Take your arms out, turn the palms upwards. Is again feet resting out. Is do a quick body scan and check, make yourself comfortable if you need to. We're going to do final relaxation. So if you want to put a blanket over you, put a blanket over you. Make sure you're warm and cozy. If you're going to put a cushion under your head, just make sure it's not too high. And then what I want you to do is lie still. And I'll talk you through, I'm so tempted to do the 5 elements, but I won't because I'm going to start at the start, so I'll keep it simple, but I have some beautiful experiences to talk you into as we go along this course. Okay, so breath awareness. You're lying still in your body. Your senses are turned inwards,
And what I want you to do is put a small amount of effort into focusing on your breath, just a small amount. And then I'm going to talk through the qualities of the breath, and we're going to layer those into the body, and we're going to layer them into the mind. And what we're doing is we're just coming into the flow state. I'm just grounding ourselves into the body and just letting the energy just flow. That's what we're going to do today. So notice your inhale and notice your exhale. And then notice that at the beginning of each breath, you're gliding into it. Literally, you're gliding into it. There's a beautiful spaciousness in your navel at the beginning of your inhale and the beginning of your exhale. Then there's a lovely flow as you flow into your rib cage. There's a momentum on the inhale and the exhale. Now at the peak of your inhale, you're breathing into your upper chest. At the peak of your exhale, you're exhaling from your upper chest. I want you to glide all the way to that peak, and I want you to come to it peacefully. So when you breathe into your navel, it's spaciousness. As you breathe into your rib cage, it's a flowing spaciousness. As you breathe into your upper chest, it's a flowing spaciousness that comes to a peaceful completion. What you're doing is you're breathing a channel. That beautiful pause at one end, there's the stillness, it's open. Now there's the openness of the navel, then there's the flow of the channel through your rib cage, and that peaceful completion keeps the channel open at the other end, and there's a beautiful moment to pause. And what you're doing is you're breathing your body. You feel your body just sink into the floor. You get that effortlessness of your body just coming into the floor. You also feel the floor coming up to support you. That you feel that you're not just lying on the floor, but the floor is cupping you and holding you. Literally, you feel like you're lying on a soft mattress and you're being carried. And there's that beautiful lightness in that. Breathe in and just let yourself be lifted, be held and be held lightly. So you're in the lightness of your physical body, you're in the lightness of your energetic body, and you're in the lightness of your mind. It's just let your mind ground and open. So a beautiful effortlessness on the exhale, a beautiful lightness on the inhale, and in between a wonderful openness. And what you're doing is you're breathing your inner space and you're breathing the channel, the central channel of your inner space. And then you're just breathing the waves within the channel, expansions and contractions, peaks and troughs. Sometimes it's physical sensations, other times it's energetic sensations, emotional sensations, other times it's thoughts. Now think about, just allow your thoughts to be like a physical sensation. It's just a sensation. And you're just allowing the sensations to peak and trough. And you're surfing the waves. Okay? And for the next couple of minutes, just allow yourself to just float. Let yourself just float. And I'm going to explain how you're having that experience. You don't really need to think about it too much or really listen to me. I'm really just going to chat away and sure you're somewhere you're listening to me. There's 3 directions: floating down, floating up, and floating out. There's that beautiful floating down within yourself, into your space. There's that beautiful floating up in your inner space, and then your inner space opens out, and there's that beautiful floating out. The common denominator is floating. So floating down, floating up, and floating out. When you take out the common denominator, all you're left with is floating. And when you're floating without movement, you're in stillness. You're finding the beautiful stillness within. And as you flow through your center of gravity, you're in that beautiful flow state, but there's a beautiful stillness within it too. When you move into your mind, it's not your thoughts, it's the watcher of your thoughts. If you go deeper into the watcher of your thoughts, it's that awareness, that consciousness within your mind. And that consciousness that's the stillness, is your ever-present self. I'll explain it this way. There's universal energy, constantly in flux, always in motion. Then you have universal consciousness, ever-present. Okay? Now, I'll describe it this way to you. Let's say you're looking at a window, any window, and there's a forest in front of you. And you're going to look out this window for a year, a whole year. And you're going to stay completely present. Not once do you drop out of the present moment. Not once do you stop focusing on the forest. What you will see is the forest going through the seasons. And if you sped up all those seasons, you'd see the colors of the seasons move through the forest like a wave. And what you're seeing is waves of energy. And what you're recognizing there is the universal energetic consciousness just moving through the present moment in waves. And you'll see it through the seasons, waves of energy in motion. Okay? So waves of energy in motion. So you're looking at all the seasons. Okay, now you've been there for a year. Not once did you leave that moment. You stayed absolutely present. Now, while you're watching all this energy move through the forest, where did you go? Where did you go? The answer is you went nowhere. For that whole year, you were completely present. And the present moment and the consciousness within the present moment is of stillness. Energy moves, consciousness is of stillness. And when you physically center yourself, energetically center yourself, mentally center yourself, what you're doing is you are activating your root chakra. You're coming into the present moment itself. And you center yourself in the present moment. You root into the moment itself. So while all the things that happen in the moment are energy and motion and the reflection of consciousness within that, but the consciousness that is ever present does not move. It's stillness itself. And you're coming into that stillness of being. You're attuning to the being of yourself. And it's ever present. And that's the truth of it. And it's beautiful. So for the next few moments, is just let yourself just feel the effortlessness of being, the lightness of being, the spaciousness of being. And then just let it radiate. Just let it radiate like a light bulb, like light. Just let it radiate. Let it permeate. And let it permeate all your experiences. So your consciousness permeates all your physical experiences, all your energetic experiences, all your mental experiences. That your consciousness of being is ever present. It's gorgeous. I'll leave you for a couple of minutes. continue to lie still. So please lie still. What I want you to do is while you lie still, I want you to bring your everyday mind back, but continue to lie still. And as you bring your everyday mind back, I want you to ever so slightly open up your eyes, just enough that you can see a little bit of light, and let your eyes settle into that little bit of light. Don't move, stay in the stillness. So you're bringing your everyday mind back. Now bring your everyday eyes back. So allow your eyes to open. And it's your everyday eyes. I want you to look up at the ceiling with your everyday eyes, but continue to lie still. But you've got your everyday mind, your everyday eyes. Now what I want you to do is bring your everyday face back. Your normal, everyday face. The face you have on you go through your day. So you got your everyday face, everyday mind, everyday eyes, everyday face, but you're still lying still. And then you get that sense of your everyday mind looking out into the world through your everyday eyes and your everyday face. Now, while you feel that everyday mind, also notice as you rest back into yourself, behind that everyday mind is the being of stillness. You can feel your consciousness and the stillness and the presence of it. And that's the being. The everyday mind is the doing, and we all got to do the doing of life. But it's wonderful when you can do the doing of life and at the same time rest in the being of yourself as well. And that you're actually moving from the being, and that permeates out into the doing of your everyday way. Okay? It's absolutely gorgeous. So now, nice and gently, moving your fingers and toes, moving your hands and feet, is work up to giving yourself a little bit of a stretch. And then, as you give yourself a little bit of a stretch, is come on up to sitting position. And then from there, you can all just bring your hands together. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for a great class. Yay. Woohoo. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's see who has a question. If you have a question, I'm going to explain a couple of things. I'm just checking here. Okay, hi guys. Okay, so what were some of the fundamental practices that we were doing? You're going to hear a lot from us all the time. It's about the centering, but even more so, it's about the active center. It's the center of gravity. It's swaying around the four corners of our feet and bringing all of our body into the center of gravity, where you've got that spontaneous engagement of the muscles. So you have the muscle actively tone, and then actively release. It tones itself, and then it releases. And it's very, very massaging. It releases tension, and then it also increases energy. It raises energy. Does everybody understand that? So if you were to take the benefits of a class like this and take it off the mat, because it's important that you take it off the mat. You're an hour on the mat, you're 23 hours in your day. Is think about if you went around and anytime you found yourself standing, first thing you did is you slightly softened your knee, micro movements. You slightly softened your knee and you just let yourself be in your sway. You don't even have to think about it, you're just in the sway of it. In that sway, you understand the massaging effect of it. It's very, very soothing. Without even having to think about it, you'll find yourself swaying in ways that just keep your body released. You're keeping your muscles engaged but relaxed. You're keeping the mobility of your joints, and you've got the freedom of them, and that allows you your natural flexibility. You're able to move in your body much more freely and much more spontaneously. You're just engaged in your body. And it's very much, it's like an everyday embodiment. Like you can have a session where you're so in your body, like, oh my God, it's full on. It's like, wow, this is amazing. But if you're going to go through your day, is staying embodied, is staying in your center of gravity. At a very simple level, is staying in your center of gravity is keeping you constantly connected. And that center of gravity is keeping you constantly connected at a physical level to the present moment. Because remember, in the present moment, there's all this energy moving. So you got to go with the flow of it. So your body's in that energetic flow, but at the same time, your body also has a place of rest. It has this point of stillness within it. So in the center of it, there's the stillness, and then there's the motion. Do you get that? It's beautiful. Now, when we talk a little bit more into this, one of the things we're going to talk about is the 5 elements, and bringing in those elements, and all those elements can build up to a chaos, and to keep the chaos of life. But think about the storm, and in the eye of the storm, there's stillness. So your ability to be adaptable within your body, can you do all the things you physically need to do in your day and stay adaptable that you hold your center? Now, if you do that physically, can you do that energetically and emotionally? Can you allow yourself to stay energetically, emotionally adaptable? What does that mean? You come into your breath. You come to the pause at the end of your exhale. It's very calm. You'll hear people always say that if somebody's a bit stressed out, deep breaths, slow the breath down. Somebody having a baby, and it's the last little bit that's most important, because it's the pause at the end of it is the release. And that pause at the end of your exhale, that is your energetic center. It's the place where you come into feeling itself. It's not emotional, it's feeling. When you can feel whatever you're feeling and just feel it, you're emotionally centered. You're energetically centered. Understand? If you're in the push and pull of what you're feeling, that push and pull is emotional. It's the emoting. It's the pushing and the pulling and the struggling with it. That's emotional. Whether it's sent out or drawn in, it's emotional. So now imagine that you're in your breath and you're in the center of gravity of your breath, just breathing it, and you're in the beautiful pause at the end of the exhale. That keeps you very, very adaptable at an emotional level. It lets you feel, and you can be effortlessly in it. You can feel lightly, and you can feel with space. So if you have all the space at a physical level, that you have all the space that you need to feel your physical body in the way you need to feel it, is then all the tension is released, because you're not carrying stuff around. It's not getting locked in. If you have all the energetic space, emotional space to feel whatever it is you need to feel in the way that you need to feel it, then you can figure your stuff out, let go of the tension, let go of what you need to let go of, and hold on to what you need to hold on to, which is the authentic feeling. What are you truly feeling? And feel it authentically. That's very energizing. Even if all the feelings are not always pleasant, if you're feeling it authentically, you're living it, and there's the aliveness in that. Do you get that? Now, at a mental level, is when you're able to be in your mind and be in the awareness of your mind, the watcher of your mind, and be grounded in it, to be present in it, is that allows you to watch. That allows you to listen. That allows you to feel. And it allows you to observe what's actually happening in the present moment, as opposed to we're judging the moment. I only want to see what I want to see. I have expectations. I only want to hear what I want to hear. And I have desires. I only want to feel what I want to feel. The problem with that is that, that may not be what's happening in the moment. There could be something else going on in the moment, but if you're paying attention to it, if you're mentally centered, you can see what is actually happening in the moment. You can hear it, you can feel it, and that's what you respond to from a place of adaptability. You're very adaptable because you have the space to think about whatever it is that you need to think about in the way that you need to think about it. Imagine giving yourself all the mental space that you needed to let your thoughts figure themselves out. And every time your thought figures itself out, you see something you haven't seen before. It's an insight, a connection. Is that connection is creating empowerment for you, is creating wisdom. If you keep stepping into connections, is literally as you step into that insight, the more you step into that insight, you're bringing that insight to life. And that becomes your living wisdom. And your living wisdom, it comes from a foundation of being within yourself, physically, energetically, and mentally. So you're beginning to see the clarity of the true sense of yourself, and where you are in the world and how the world works and where you fit into the world, where your place is within that. And as you find your position, again, then you find your purpose and your meaning. So it all fits in together. Now, the wonderful thing about the restorative part of it is the more you get into these beautiful micro movements, is you're doing an awful lot of powerful work in the gentlest of ways. The gentlest of ways. And I'll explain the power of it this way. You have something that can smash, and you have something that can permeate. Which one is more powerful? The smasher or the permeator? Okay? Now, the permeator is far more powerful because you can break through things and smash things with this, but you don't need to break things with this. You just absorb into them. And meditation is a state of absorption. And as you absorb into anything, that's a state of meditation. And there's two basic forms, an object and emptiness. So you can meditate in your body, but you can go into the spaciousness of your body. You can go into the energy of your body. You can go into the consciousness of your body. You're bringing the doing and the being together. The meditating on an object, an emptiness. Emptiness is the being. The object is the doing. You come into the being and the doing of yourself. Okay, so that subtle movement and that softness in the restorative is very, very powerful. Very powerful. Okay, so think about that. And so next Friday, we're going to have another session, and I'll build on the subtle practice. I'll bring in a couple of more movements. I'll engage with the chakras just a little bit more and tease it out. I'll talk a little bit more about the heart. We'll go into the inner voice, the third eye, and the crown. We'll go a little bit more that way. And you'll see as we go along, it's actually very activate the frequencies within. And each chakra is a frequency. We're beginning to activate those frequencies and experience the truth of them. That's super. All by just softening into ourselves. All right, so it's good fun. It's good fun. So listen, I'm going to check. Is there any questions? No questions today. So listen, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you next time. So next Friday for Restorative. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.